All right, YouTube, if you want to talk about fake news, it just came from the legacy dying media. That is, there was an AP report that a section of a Trump and Nana phone call, or Nada, I think it is, the Mexican president. The transcript was released and it was like, oh, Trump is threatening war with Mexico. If Mexico doesn't take care of their cartel problem, Trump will send U.S. troops down and will be declaring war. But it turns out that's actually totally false. Like the report that I read last night on the subject, most of the bulk of the actual article. Now, if you just read the headline, which is what 99% of people do on Facebook or wherever, you'd think, oh, well, it's been confirmed that Trump literally threatened to march the troops down into Mexico like we're annexing them or something like that, or holding the government there hostage. You actually read even the article itself with its completely misleading headline, and you find out it's been denied completely by the Mexican government. They're like, oh, no, this never actually was said. It was a constructive phone call. There was nothing going on there. And no, Trump didn't threaten to send troops into Mexico. You read that. You talk about their response altogether. It's basically flat-out denial. And flat-out denial is good within politics. Usually you get people that they wiggle around, they're uncomfortable, and they don't actually deny it completely. They say, no, that, I will not address these claims, or, excuse, or they deflect and they start talking about something totally different. And that means that they're lying usually. But here we've got a flat-out denial from a group of people who, is the Mexican government necessarily great friends with Trump? I would think they wouldn't want to do him any favors. I would think if you got him into a position where they thought they could convince the American people that the president was a total nut and a complete warmonger that actually was willing to do something like that, oh, they'd jump at the opportunity. But if it's completely untrue and they take that fabricated report, they take that excerpt that's not even real from AP or wherever it came from originally, and they run with it, and then Trump comes out and says that never happened, then they end up looking like a bunch of assholes. So this never happened. It's fake news. What actually apparently was said was that Trump offered to send U.S. troops down there to help them with their cartel problem, and from that, that excerpt gets completely reinterpreted out of context without an actual audio with it to look at tone or anything like that. It's not even in a verbal context as far as the actual readout that you have. And AP says, oh yeah, Trump is threatening war with Mexico. Well, how do you go from there to here? It doesn't make any sense. Offering to send troops and threatening to send troops if you don't fucking get your act together, two totally different things. And the Mexican government is like, what the fuck is going on here? The American media is fucked up. And they are. There's your fake news. When people, they worry so much, or they were worried, now they've stopped talking about it mostly. When the CNN viewers, all 10 of them were worried about the proliferation of fake news, they didn't think to aim their criticism at whatever network's talking heads they happen to trust for no reason. And that's really what they are. These people, they're multimillionaires in most cases, and they're paid to lie to people. That's the point. AP took an excerpt from a phone call, out of all verbal context, completely disemboweled its meaning, slapped it in a report, and everyone else reported on it as though AP was being factual. But they weren't being, so there's your problem. Even right now, a day later, after the fact-checking has supposedly occurred and we know what's going on, the Mexican government still denies that this happened. The tone is still referred to as friendly by the U.S. government in the context of this phone call. And yet if you look at the headlines, if you just looked at those or the first paragraph of any of these stories, you'd have no clue. Even last night, but Trump's own fans, people who like Donald Trump, think it's a great idea to hardball other countries. Last night we're talking about it as though this report was actually indicating his willingness to declare war on the state of Mexico. That's how confusing it was for people. Even those that generally support Trump have they wouldn't have a problem with sending U.S. troops down there to beat on cartels. I would be one of them, myself. Yeah, we should offer help. They haven't solved the problem on their own. Why not help them out? It's cheaper. It'd be a lot cheaper than what we're dealing with here because we don't do anything about the fucking cartels. That doesn't mean you're threatening to invade them. You're offering them help. It's two totally different things. But AP, apparently, they're just too fucking dumb to realize that. Taking everything completely out of context. I mean, the fact is, most people, they're just going to look at the headline. I think that the legacy media at this point realizes that they realize the average social media user, which is, you know, probably more than half of the people that pay attention to any news service at all anyway now. They realize, oh, they read the headline, and half of them don't do anything further. Most of the rest, they just skim the first paragraph. So what do? First paragraph is, oh, Trump expressed willingness to beat on Mexico's president, go to war, kill a bunch of people, evil warmongering, piece of shit, bigot, homophobe. That was the first paragraph, along with the title, which is, yes, Trump will invade Mexico. Got everyone riled up. But if you read the rest of the story, even on segments of the media that clearly don't like Trump, like a CNN or something, the entire rest of the body of the article, wherever you happen to see it linked, is Mexico denies it, U.S. government denies it, we don't know what the context of this is, we can't say anything for sure, then how is it newsworthy? So you got a so-called leak from somebody who apparently is full of shit and has nothing to do with the Trump admin. If they're releasing an excerpt that never actually happened, I think you would question these sources. But the media has assumed that Trump is so bad that any time that somebody takes something and fabricates it completely, or spins it out of all context, or whatever it happens to be, and pretends to be a leaker, pretends to be, oh yeah, I'm from the CIA, I can tell you it was Russia, this happened before. Oh yeah, I'm from the FBI, and blah blah blah, Trump is scared. You know, they get this report that, oh, Trump is actually deeply depressed right now. Bullshit. Bullshit. I'm going to call bullshit on that one. I don't think that anybody anywhere near Trump thinks that. He's probably elated right now. He's a fucking president of the United States. It's probably less of a workload than what he's been used to for the last few decades anyway. They fabricate this material. And the media over and over again, like a dog returning to its vomit, to put it in the biblical sense, keeps spewing it out on the population. They always seem to design the articles so that the title and the first half a paragraph or so is really lurid and says, oh yeah, we're sure Trump is Hitler or something. The rest of it is all basically a giant disclaimer of, oh yeah, we can't verify this, we can't verify that, we're not sure what tone this specific quote was said in, or if it's even real, and an anonymous source says that Trump has diarrhea today, or something like that. Now, this didn't really happen much under Obama, at least from these same corporate media apparatuses. Certainly, you got it from the Blaze, you got it from Drudge and Breitbart and some of these groups, but you didn't get it from the CNNs and so forth, you know, the TV-era media. Most of those, they have more ties to the Democratic rather than Republican Party. It's still partisan bullcrap. It doesn't matter whether they're backing neocons or neoliberals, but they're convinced that Trump is Adolf Hitler incarnate. So, yeah, they're having a bad time of it. Because this happens in, you know, I guess sane people who read the whole article, who bother to fact-check it themselves instead of just sort of mindlessly absorbing whatever they see or hear or read. They're like, what the fuck? This is AP. AP is usually better than some of these other, like CNNs or MSNBCs or Foxes. AP's usually, you know, it's fairly tolerable. Then they come out with this crap. It's like, what the fuck's happening? They just can't contain themselves. They had to do some clickbait themselves. I mean, it's fantastically funny. You've got the Mexican government, which, by all rights, according to what CNN says every day, should absolutely hate Trump and wish that, honestly, that they could throw him out of a helicopter. And they have to come out and defend him because it's so false. It's hilarious, honestly, to see that. That's about all. Peace out.